Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. It's your favorite time of the week, your favorite sports show, TD Online. This evening, we've got a few very, very special guests with us. We've got, first up on the lineup, we will be chatting to Labeeb Levy, Salmaan, Moerat, and Nizaam Carr. They've been in the headlines for the past week, making waves around South Africa and all around the world. Yes, we have seen the first match of rugby that's been played on South African soil, or let's say professional rugby on South African soil that's been played with two Muslim captains. Let's hear a bit from them and their experiences on the match. Later on, we're going to be chatting to the former Protea, Roger Telemachus, who's going to be sharing a bit of light on his career in the Protea jersey, as well as his domestic career. Some interesting stories there from Roger himself. Then we're going to be ending off by profiling one of South Africa's stronger rugby clubs, Saldanha Rugby Club. They are the reigning champions of the Boland League, and they're going to be telling us all about the growth of the club. Born in 1994, and a good couple of years later, and they're dominating some of the scenes on the SA Rugby calendar. Well, let's not waste any time. First up, we do have Labeeb Levy that's going to be joining us, as well as Salmaan, Moerat, and Nizaam Carr. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening. I mean, Labeeb, let's start with you, Coachy. A massive weekend for you, taking up the reins at Stormers against the Blue Bulls, one of South Africa's stronger teams. We do know that they have, let's say, all the competitions in South African rugby in their calendar. I mean, in their calendar and in their cabinet. So, Labeeb, what was it like going up against the Bulls?
For now. Anyway, no. Yeah, it was okay. It was nice going up against them. It was quite a challenge. It was a first time for me being a head coach at professional Super Rugby. So there's a lot of pressure, but also a lot of challenges, but a lot of happiness for myself, as well as people supporting me, and also supporting the two boys. A lot of us, we come basically from the old Western Province, Greenpoint track. Nizaam's grandfather was a legend, probably a bigger legend than what he is now, and Salmaan's father as well has strong connections, having played for Western Province in the years gone by. So it was almost like we've gone full circle in our country and our rugby, etc. It took since 1992 to get to a point like this with Nizaam, obviously captaining a provincial Super Rugby franchise, and Salmaan, obviously the beloved Stormers franchise. So that irrespective of the rugby, that was a victory and a milestone for our community as a whole, and also to show that it is possible, because both of them are not people that are not high up there, but they're actually people of the ground. People can associate with them. People see them in the road. They meet them in the shop. It's not like they remove themselves from the various communities. They will attend the function, the khatats, etc. And that just makes them inspirational and good role models for the youth that needs it and deserves it.
No, that's certainly true. And I mean, it's quite evident that if you use people or you have people involved in rugby that's from the community, the love for rugby just decides to grow, if you can call it that. And you'll see that the support this past weekend was so much because of that. Salmaan, you've captained South Africa at junior level, and now you've gone on and you've captained the Stormers at, let's say, the highest club level that there is in South Africa. What was the shift like?
Yeah, that kid, as Labeeb said now, it was a massive occasion. Emotionally, it was a big build up to the game, not just for myself, for my family, for the community as a whole. So it was a huge occasion. It was a massive privilege. It was an honor, alhamdulillah, and it was even more special being able to play against and captain against Nizaam, a player that, when I started, he was one of the senior players there, and he played an inspirational role when I started. That just made it so much more special. Yeah.
I remember you mentioned when I interviewed you last year on Salam Media, you mentioned that Nizaam Carr was one of your role models. When you got to go tour with him and you got a call up, what was it like captaining against him this time when just a couple of years ago you were looking up to him as your role model?
At stages, it was there was funny moments in the game. Obviously, there was very nice what do you call it, banter, if I can call it that. But yeah, it was a massive occasion and very privileged to have shared the field with him that night. Obviously, like I mentioned, how he played a massive role in my career, and if I can think back to none other than when I made my debut on tour, Nizaam, I don't know if you can remember, but he before my game he wrote me a letter just how proud he was of me and how much it meant to the community. And that's something that I still cherish up till today.
Nizaam, I mean, it's what? When did you make your debut? Just a couple of years ago. And I'm sure that WhatsApp messages and emails were around, and Nizaam still decides to write letters. You're rather cute, eh?
Mark, I didn't hear you now.
Now, say that in the age of emails and WhatsApps, Nizaam is still so
Oh.
cute that to write letters. Zami,
Yeah,
you've now. Eh?
he actually gave me that letter before the game. Yeah, no, he gave me that letter before the game.
Nice, cute love letters. Did he slip a cutie pie also in your pocket? Zami, what is it like captaining the Blue Bulls this season? I mean, you've obviously had them for the entire preparation tournament, the kickoff pools. Stepping into the captaincy role, was it easy, or was it just like just a transition?
Yes, Dakir, it's never easy. Obviously, when you have to, pull a team that hasn't been training or playing that much together. I think, for example, our average age was 21 years old or 20 years old. So you can imagine what is in that guys or that ladies' mindset is to play. You can't give them too much structure or put them in the box because they want to express themselves. And sometimes they're going to go out of what we're trying to achieve, where us, the older heads, will know exactly what Coach Jake wants. But sometimes, it is a bit difficult with the younger boys. But we want that. We believe that we have to sort of give them the exposure and the opportunities, because else they won't compete against teams like, for example, if a Cornel Hendricks is injured or Stedman Gans, how are they going to perform against Leinster or Munster or the top team? So that is the whole idea behind it. So it is tough, but everybody had a good buy-in to me being the captain. It was a bit, I was also shocked at the time because I didn't play the semi-final or I didn't play the final last year in the Currie Cup or this year. So, and being straight to the captain, that was, special for me. And there's a lot of boys around, like, for example, Trevor Nyakani, Cornell, Gio's helping me, Christmas. So it makes my work a lot easier. And I don't do everything. I like to empower everybody. So everybody has a voice around me. So you must speak up. You must say something. For example, Madosh came now from the Sharks. And he's an experienced campaigner. So I always gave him the platform to say something, because he can teach the younger boys how to contest a high ball or how to defend, not shoot in and, hold the line or whatever the case may be. So it was interesting so far. We have 3 out of 3 wins. We're playing the Sharks on Friday night, so that's going to be a tough one. Sia Kolisi will most probably play, and it will be a big day for him, but we're all looking forward to that.
No, definitely. I mean, we're certainly looking forward to you leading the team, bringing a different dynamic and aspect to the game. Labeeb, you touched on what this means to the community as a whole. The 3 of you guys went to Juma on Friday. What was it like going to Juma? Did your mind slip by any chance and think, okay, Nizaam has a weak right shoulder. Maybe maybe we can attack that. Or don't you want to tramp on his toe in Juma, and then maybe you could possibly get the guys to
That
to
was part
act
of the
on that.
plan. That was part of the plan, maybe to even take his car keys and just maybe lock him in the car or something. But okay, we on our way to Juba, so it was like no, it was actually nice because we spoke a bit of what's happening by us and by them, but not obviously the ins and out and those. It was actually just nice to catch up with each other on the way to Juba. He obviously told we must bring some horses from Cape Town, and then the Sunday morning he actually brought us some horses for breakfast and Salmaan also brought today and 100 some horses for the team. That's like I don't know, but anyway, no, it was nice. Catching up to him. I haven't seen him in a while. I saw him the last time we played Super Rugby Unlocked and in Cape Town. But we actually got a good old catch up, and but I actually like to see how the two youngsters interacted with each other. Which is lekker because that's one of the legacies, man. They setting example for the future. Like previously, your Kakalaki Zaire Islands, your Ismail Dollies of the world, they set the platform for them, and they can show, especially in this world where everyone just wants to fight with each other, to show that in a bit of war there can be a lot of love, and their relationship with other is good. Obviously, next time we'll Salmaan Muni worry me, bros. That will be in a few weeks' time. We'll be at it again. Probably Cape Town, inshallah, and then we'll see what happens. But I'm very proud of them. Very proud of them of Chappie as well, especially where Rifat has come from. Not where he's come from. He's come anyway. But, I mean, he's come from collegians. When I coach collegians, he was still on high school, and he's one of the top conditioners in South Africa. The players absolutely love him. They love him to bits, and he's honest with them. He's got his own style, his own bit of swag, and we're going to be proud, and we're going to be leaving the sport in a good place for our people of Mitchell's Plain, Bull Cup, Athlone, Promosers, Violets, Amadeus, all those clubs where the heritage is from. So we're very proud of the Vineyards, very proud of them. And they've still got a long career. Both of them, Nizaam still got a lot of years ahead of him. Hy praat maar soos 'n ou man. Sy hare lyk 'n bietjie net as everybody as well as it was. And Salmaan also got a career. Hopefully he can make the Lions. And Nizaam must also keep working out.
No, definitely. It's always nice to see the guys that go from club level right up, like you were chatting now about Rifat, Chappie, and I mean, it's nice to see that there is a pathway for guys in rugby. Salmaan, let's get into the nitty-gritties here. You being a young captain, Troki had the knock on. Labeeb chatted about it early, touched on it in his press match conference. What was it like for you as a young captain, guiding him through that moment where his mind is just all over the place?
Yeah, I think for him, for obvious reasons, he was very disappointed. I think he didn't expect himself to knock that ball. But that's how it goes. That's just the game of rugby. You make mistakes, and I think what Labeeb did really well was Labeeb consoled him very, 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 very well after the game. Just told him to what was that line you used, Labeeb? But Labeeb did so well just to comfort him and just to keep his confidence up. I think he's a great player. We all know he's a great player, and we all know what he's made of. And to be honest with you, we weren't really upset about it, because we felt we did what we wanted to, and we executed certain things in that game that we were quite happy about. Obviously, there's still a lot of areas that we need to work on, but generally, I felt that we were quite happy. And it's for a young team, first of all, to perform like they did. I think regardless of the try or not, we were in a good space.
No, definitely. Labeeb, don't you want to share that words that you just let us know? Maybe myself or Salmaan, even Nizaam, can use it and slip it in a love letter like Nizaam did to Salmaan.
Actually, a line I learned from Chocho Baradin, a Salvatore great when he was at Collegians. He always used to say, because of sport, it has its ups and its downs, man. So you're not always going to get what you want. So he always says, you take the good with the bad and you die with your boots on. So, yeah.
Nice.
I like that. Yo.
Nizaam, was about to get to you now. What is it like getting one over your former employers?
I'm leaving now.
And being the captain on top of it. Labeeb, thank you for your time this evening. We really appreciate it. Guys, only under 30s are allowed to be on this live now. Labeeb, it was real. Shukran.
Okay, baby.
Nizaam, what was it like getting one over your former employers?
Look, this is a preparation cup, but it's also good for one's confidence, how you play and things like that. Like Salmaan said, you want to achieve what the coaches has put out for you in terms of like whether it's your set piece, the way you play, your general play, all that stuff. So but we all know getting a win is probably the best thing that any sportsman wants, So for us that is important. And I know we were sort of outplayed in a lot of areas. In fact, most of the game, I would say. So to get a win that night, we were really lucky. So yeah, I said to Salmaan, and I could tell when I had breakfast with him the next day, their spirits was high. It's not like we were at the funeral now because of that loss. You could see that they all enjoyed themselves when they played. They had the freedom to do whatever they want. I think Damian Willems had one of his best games, for Stormers. So get touch on that again. But I could tell that they were in a good space. And that's what we also want to be. Obviously, we on the other side. Although we got the one, we still felt that we did come short in a number of stuff. And I won't go into detail in terms of that. But, good on Salmaan. I actually wanted to say it when Uncle Labeeb was on here. It is not only us that's doing well, it's all the past people that has put in so much work for us. And he mentioned Ismail Dolly and Zahir Highland, but it's before that even, like our fathers, our grandparents, their fathers, what they did to sacrifice for us to have it so easy, man. Because for us just to be play on Newlands, that couldn't happen back in the day. And now I've got, for Stormers, 97 caps. Salmaan is probably going to play over 150 caps as well. So, well, not at Newlands, but Greenpoint Stadium. So that is special. So we must appreciate what the past people has, done. And also to the people, to us is really important, and all their prayers for us, to keep us safe and things like that. So very important not to forget them, and that is important that we mention them.
No, definitely. We wouldn't be given this opportunity if it wasn't for them. And Salmaan, you come from the community of Paul. What does this mean to you and your community? You obviously represented Western Province from junior level all the way up, and then obviously captained the SA schools team, and now you're captaining the Stormers. What does this mean for your community and obviously everybody that paved the way for us to enjoy the benefits of rugby like we do today?
Yeah, I think it's Nizaam had spot on and Coach Labeeb earlier on. We don't, when we play rugby, we don't just do it for ourselves. We play it for the people that previously couldn't represent or play representative rugby, if I can put it that way. So essentially, it's not just for us. I mean, if I can use the example of my father, I think like for him, it's basically for him, it's like he's reliving his dream that he never could fulfill. So in that sense, I think it makes it so much more special, and we need to appreciate it. Like Nizaam said, and like I mentioned earlier on, it was a huge occasion for me, alhamdulillah. And I really hope that inshallah there'll be more opportunities, and not just for us, but for the next for the next generation coming through, and it will be a lot easier for them as well.
No, definitely. I think it will certainly be a lot easier for them. If you just look at some of the greats that's paved the way for us, if you look at Ahmed Brink, that's commenting here, and then there's a whole lot of people that's engaging and interacting with us. And for everybody else out there, you can pop your comments in the comment section below on Facebook, and I will pop them in screen so that Nizaam and Salmaan can see them. Nizaam, you've been around the world, and we do know that South African rugby will be heading up north next year. What are some of the massive differences compared to South African rugby or Southern Hemisphere rugby or advice that you can even give to Salmaan to lead these guys into having an easier route going into the Rainbow Cup or Pro 16?
For me personally, I was talking to one of my teammates earlier, and I said to him, going up north, we know them for, they set piece, they're mauling, it's wet, they kick a lot and things like that. But I want to focus on, especially on what we achieve now playing the Super Rugby, with how we run the ball and things. And people say South African rugby is a traditional, just go forward, run the same lines, and the wall needs to break. But we need to, take into the north what we've learned with the Super Rugby, the skill, stepping off both feet, having a kicking option, having interplay, offloads, all that stuff is going to be the point of difference, because I know we can obviously match them physically. We can, dominate, we can defend the ball, we can scrum. We have big forwards, we have big backs. That is sorted out. But the point of difference for us is to be faster, sharper, because when I came back to South Africa, it's a lot harder. I said to my wife, Aisha, that it's more physical. And me being a bit older now, my life had 2 or 3 down to recover, and I mentioned it to you. So that is going to be the difference. I think a team against Leinster, they have a big kicking game, but they do the simple stuff well, and that is where the winning lies, like going forward. So it's going to be important, but we're looking forward to what nobody knows what to expect, and that is nice. If you're not sure what's coming, you're always more nervous, you're more excited. So because it's an unseen, that's a natural feeling with any human being. So we're all excited for that, and I'm sure Salmaan and them are probably the same. Yeah.
Salmaan, talking about that, what's your thoughts on moving up north? We've become so accustomed to playing rugby in the Southern Hemisphere, and year in and year out, it's Hurricanes, it's Highlanders, it's Crusaders that's going to give you a tough run. Yeah, and there the Brumbies will give you a tough run, but now you don't know what to expect, and you've never played up north. Nizaam at least has the experience. What are you looking forward to, and how are you going to take this challenge on?
Yeah, I think Nizaam is obviously the perfect guy for this question. I think myself and Labeeb actually spoke this afternoon. How we're actually going to miss Super Rugby in the sense that it was a different style of rugby. There was just a whole different approach towards it. But within saying that, I think, like Nizaam said, we are very well known for our physicality. So in that sense, I think we should go well. But I couldn't agree more with him. We should really take the skill, because people forget that I think South African players are very skillful, and we are generally underestimated. I think that we should take that skill and our kicking game that we can that we have into this competition. Obviously, it's going to be daunting. It's going to be challenging, but I guess that's why you play rugby. You want to play against the best, and I mean, teams like Leinster, Munster, they are quality teams with quality players, and you want to test yourself against the best. So I think for the growth of South African rugby, I think it should be very good.
No, definitely.
Daki, if I could just say, okay, I know I'm still young, but rugby is like, for example, it's a simple game, man. if you really look into it, simple, but sometimes we overcomplicate it, man. So it's for me, especially how I play, would like to play, or I think I'm playing, is play what you see. And that is probably the best thing you can do, because on the day, for example, Salmaan will agree with me, you don't know what that guy is gonna bring. You don't know what his plan is, or if they're gonna run at you, kick at you, play the tip pass, or what they're gonna do. So, or what you're gonna do to him, you know. So it's play what you see, and I think that's where the game is going right now. Small guys are tackling bigger guys, big guys are, it's all the same. So let's not over up. I always say, don't complicate it. You have a plan, but within that plan, you can express yourself. You know, so enjoy yourself. Play the game like you were a kid, and that is what I'm trying to be as a leader. Obviously, a lot of people don't agree with me, but enjoy it, man. Like you play in your back garden. Like we play touches on a Sunday or whatever during the week with the boys and your friends like that, because that is what rugby in the end of the day is about. Because memories is what we have, you know, and that's it.
I don't think we can play touches anymore, Salman, because every Sunday I must wake up to messages of excuses. My body's sore. This is wrong. That is wrong. I'll never understand because I don't play rugby. I'm not going to mention names, but yeah, it's one of the gentlemen on this chat that stays like 35 minutes away from me.
It's not me.
Salman, I mean, we are running out of time. And before I let you go, what is your message that you'd want to send out to the Stormers faithful just to stay strong and support you guys for leading into the Rainbow Cup?
First of all, I want to say thank you. I want to say shukran to each and everyone out there. Obviously, we obviously building. We're in a building phase. We've got some quality youngsters coming through, some exciting youngsters and coaches coming through the ranks. Just to remain faithful in us, and hopefully we can continue to make them proud. Hopefully we can build some good momentum going into this preparation, into this franchise. The Rainbow Cup, and just keep improving on our game week in, week out.
Shukran, Salman. Thanks for joining us this evening, and I certainly look forward to having you on TD Online a whole lot more in 2021 and the future. Sami, you've got a big game against the Sharks this weekend. We do have the former Stormers flanks that would be up against each other. What is your fans to your Blue Bull supporters that have been backing you guys week in and week out? I mean, you guys are just taking all the silverware there is in South Africa that there is to take. So it certainly gives the faithful a reason to get behind you guys. What is your message for them?
Mine is quite similar to Salmaan. We just would like to thank everybody for supporting us. I know the Blue Bulls have been going through a very tough period. I believe they haven't won Western Province or the Stormers within 10 years or 11 years. So, you know, it has been tough on them, because without all the fans and the supporters, we cannot do what we are doing. We do provide entertainment. So, you know, we want to thank them for always backing us. We've got obviously the trophies and everything here, and they can have their pictures taken with all of that. So that is, you know, quite nice. But in the end of the day, we do appreciate what they do to us, as well as our families, how they there for us and support us and put up with our pressures that we deal with at work and things like that, just so that we can be the best on a Saturday, or now it's Wednesday, Sunday, Mondays, Tuesdays. So we want to say a huge thank you to everyone, and also to you, Dakir, for bringing the show together and connecting us with the people, because in the end of the day, you know, we have each other, and that is what is important. You're never by yourself. You're always going to need help from all the other people. So again, as I mentioned earlier, shukran to all the people who believes in us, who never lost faith. And for the boys who's watching, keep believing in yourself. Don't give up. Keep fighting, because you know it will happen for you. Be patient and have sabr, inshallah. All the best.
It sounds like one of those lectures you always give me when I get frustrated in life, and then you always just sabr, sabr, sabr. It's always
That
nice to have a role
I
model like
I
you
learned
as a friend as
I
well.
I learned that in Makkah actually in Medina because all the people used to like, well, the people from there used to say, Haji, just sabr, sabr. If you want to go, yeah, get on the bus, you'll be like, Haji, sabr, sabr, you know. So that's what I'm telling you. The best is to have sabr. So yeah, inshallah.
I've got Roger Telemachus here in the background, and I'm just looking at his face and how he's laughing at us. Hey, Raj, from the rugby field to the cricket field. Any messages from you to Salmaan, Moerat, and Nizaam Carr?
No, these guys are legends on the rugby field, and especially to Salmaan. You're doing a great work, and especially to the old man there, Nizaam. Well done, you guys. You presented our country in provincial cricket, and that was great. I mean, that was a great story there, Nizaam.
That's good.
Roger, thanks so much. So those of you that want to know what we have lined up after the break, we've got a profile interview with Roger Telemachus. We're going to be touching on a bit of his cricketing career, how it went, and life after cricket. Salmaan and Nizaam, shukran so much for your time this evening. I wish you guys all the best for the weekend. And yeah, I hope to catch up with you guys soon.
Okay.
Always a pleasure
Yes,
having
boys.
these guys. Cheers. Next up, we will be having.
Can I have two?
You've got it. Next up, we'll be having Roger Telemachus in about a minute or two. So get that popcorn, get that water, take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting to Roger Telemachus. That is TD Online. We were chatting earlier to Salmaan, Moerat, Nizaam Carr, and Labeeb Levy, sharing a bit of their history in the game, what it means to them, what it means to their supporters as well, and also they were sharing with us a bit of their secrets and what keeps them going in their rugby careers. Always nice and always amazing chatting to these guys, listening to the stories behind the scenes. Don't move. I know that the viewers are still there. We're steadily climbing. Your comments will be appreciated. Next up, we're going to be chatting to Roger Telemachus. That's going to be telling us all about his cricketing career, where it started, and what is life like after cricket. In just 1 second. Roger, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Mr. Dawood, thanks for having me on the show, and thanks to the listeners. I've been watching your show. It's interesting characters you got onto your show these days. I see you had Garner Kruger, and just before that, I saw the Rugby Oaks there. But I must say, well done to you. Great show so far, bud.
Thanks so much, man. And I mean, how can we mention characters and not include yourself? I mean, come on. Let's be realistic here.
I think I piped down a bit after my career. So I was known as a bit of a character in the change room and on the cricket field, but I piped down a little bit now.
Come on, this is the time you have to turn it up and actually start living, man. Roger, it looks like we have a Western Cape takeover on the show tonight. Where did your cricket career start exactly? And what was it like going through cricket the way you did? Because you've obviously faced a lot of challenges that the likes of myself, Nizaam and Salmaan previously that we didn't get to experience. What was it like growing up and making your name in cricket and getting through unity in South Africa through those uncertain times?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant question. To answer your first part of your question, I grew up in Stellenbosch, beautiful town, student town. I learned my cricket, family cricket. My brothers played, my father played. And obviously playing cricket in the street, like any colored guy or rugby guy or soccer guy playing the street every afternoon. I wasn't the brightest at school, you know what I'm trying to say. So cricket kept me busy. That is how I learned my cricket. And I played for a club called Stellenbosch and Districts. And then, I went through the ranks and then went to, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, you spoke about, amalgamation with the white clubs. And I went to Newton's Cricket Club. And from there, it just kicked on, and then after a while, when Omar Hendry returned from the Free State, he became the coach of Stellenbosch University, and he asked me to come and play cricket there. And since I moved there, I never looked back. I got the right coaching from him. I was associated with the right players, and it just took off. And started my career with Boland B, and then Boland in 1992. And as I said, from there, it just took off. Sorry, I'm sweating under my lights here, so you must excuse me.
Well, I mean, we chatted about that earlier to Labeeb. We told him to get his daughter's selfie ring quickly. So it seems like you have everything in order. Roger?
I don't know.
Roger, if you look at it, and I mean, this question can obviously pertain to Salmaan as well. Boland, Western Province, the divide. Where does the divide come in there, and what made you choose Boland over Western Province?
No, I think because my club was associated in the region of Boland, and I made the transition. And I remember that Duncan Fletcher, who coached England, asked me to come and play for Western Province in 1997. Yeah, and yes, I think that is where I made the move.
Okay, cool, man. I mean, look, let's touch a bit on your Protea career. What was it like getting that first call up? And I mean, your debut. What was it like for you and your family? What did it mean to the community of Stellenbosch?
Look, it's obviously obviously your dream to play for your country, and I remember when I got the call, I was so excited, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was still busy with the first club's game. I remember the convener of selectors called me while the game is on, but he didn't call me, he called our coach, who was Hilton Eckerman at the time. And I was so excited. I was sitting with my pads and we were batting at that time. So, it was a hell of a moment in my career, because it's one of your dreams to play for South Africa, whether it's rugby, cricket, any sport in our country. And I was, as I said, over the moon. My family was over the moon because the hard yards we put in, all the training and all the traveling that we put in, my dad as well. So one of my best feelings in the world.
No, man. And then making your debut, getting kitted up in the South African kit for the first time. What did it feel like? What was that feeling like, knowing that you've got this opportunity that so many greats missed out on?
Someone asked me, can I still remember my debut? I said, yes, I'll never forget it. I mean, it happened in 1997 against Pakistan in Durban. The guy asked me, can you remember your first wicket? I said, let me think. I think it was Saeed Anwar. Yeah, I played on. And I remember that I just went kept my hands together and prayed and said, thank you to God. What a feeling, you're quite nervous. You're quite nervous, building up to the game. You have to be calm. But I remember that I was sitting next to the great Hansi Cronje, and he said to me, "Don't worry, boy. Be calm. I'll be next to you." And immediately he calmed me, and the game went like I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that's one of the highlights of your career. And if you look back at your career, what are some of the moments that you'll cherish forever? I think, can I start off and just put a little spanner in the works here.
I know what you're gonna say, but it's fine. You can throw it in.
Johannesburg, Wanderers Stadium against the Aussies.
Yeah.
Tell me about that
Yeah,
game. Yes, I mean that could have easily been the greatest game of cricket to ever take place.
I mean, it's just a freak of a day. I mean, until today, we can't say or you can't explain what happened. You know, it was just a freak day, but it's definitely on top of my list of one of the best games I ever played in. Probably the best game in the world. And people say there's probably going to be another game like that. I don't think so. You know, but you know what was good about that game? We chased 400 and odd down against the best team in the world back then. You know, with a hell of a good players, Ponting, Gilchrist, Brett Lee, such a lot of players. You know, yes, we also had good players there, but you know, to chase that game down and the way we constructed that innings, Mickey Arthur, you know, just telling us, listen here, try to not embarrass yourself when we go back, and try to get as far as we can. So you know, Makaya and Tini played it wonderful, one down to third man. You know, everybody just contributed. You know, Herschel Gibbs played a hell of a knock, probably the best knock.
What a phenomenal innings from him. Yeah.
Well, probably the best knock I've seen playing next to a player, if you know what I mean. And just a little bit of Herschel Gibbs, you know. I played many games with him. When he's in the mood, he's in the mood. And when he tells you he's taking bowlers on today, trust me, he will do it. I mean, such a talented player. You know, such a joy to watch, such an entertainer. He was unbelievable that day.
We've got Chantal van der Ven telling us that was the best game of cricket by far. She still has the DVD of that game. That just shows how far back that it was. Roger, I mean, going back after the first innings, going back into the change room, what exactly was the words from the coach, and what was your words to your fellow players? I mean, knowing that you now have a mountain to climb.
Look,
what was the mood like in the change room?
No, I don't think we were, as bowlers and as a squad, we were very grumpy. I mean, we embarrassed ourselves as a bowling unit, as a fielding unit, as Proteas, you know. We never knew that, you know, Australia is going to, you know, punish us the way they did. But I can tell you what happened in the change room. There was silence, you know. I mean, I remember Jacques Keller still cracked a joke. And he mentioned that I think Cowboys, they're only 15 runs short. I mean, after they got 400 and something, you know. Yeah, the mood was down, you know. But I think credit to Mickey Arthur. You know, he lifted the boys with a good speech there, and just told us, listen here, you know, we just have to go out there and try not to embarrass ourselves, try to get, you know, as close as possible, and I think. That was, I mean, it was the right words at the right time.
No, see, I can just imagine, and I mean, those are one of the ups in your career, and you've certainly had like a lot of ups and downs in your career, but a great one that we can definitely look back at. And you certainly very outspoken, and I think that's the reason you one of the people that South Africa loves. Take us back to when you received a one-match ban because you had words with Saurav Ganguly. I don't know if you can remember that. If you look back at that,
I think it was Raul Dravid at the Champions Trophy in Kenya.
Yes.
And by the way, that's the only major trophy. That is the only major trophy that South Africa won until now. You know, so that was way back. I think he smashed me for 3 4s, and as he walked back, I shouldered him, and after the game, the match referee called me in. He said, "Listen here, look here, we got a problem here." I said, "What is the problem?" I said, "Remember you shoulder Raul Dravid?" I said, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." He said, "Yes, follow me." So he took me down to the production crew, and there was about 10 screens there. I couldn't lie after that. And he said to me, "Listen here, I'm giving I lied to him in his office, and he took me down to the production crew, and he showed me all the angles of the incident, and just shows you at the cricket game there's a hell of a lot of cameras, so you can't do these things. But it wasn't a happy ending for me. I had to sit out one game. But I've learned from that. I'm a coach today. I'll tell people you got to be aggressive, but you can't go over the top. There's many ways to be aggressive. You have to play the game hard, but you also have to you got to also draw the line where you have to draw the line.
No, I can imagine. And I mean, what are some of the players that obviously you chirped or you managed to get under their skin in the game of cricket? Because we know in today there's mic cams, and you can actually hear what the players saying. It's always interesting to get those conversations. What are some of your favorite conversations that you managed to have with the opposition and get under their skin and take their wickets?
Yeah, I think when I bowled against the greats and the greats, I bowled against Lara, I bowled against Ponting, I bowled against Tendulkar. You gotta be aggressive. And I believe, and I grew up like this, and my coaches taught me you gotta be in their faces. You gotta show that you are right there, because if you can't, you're not gonna get wickets. You're not gonna be intimidating. You understand where I come from? Yeah, you look here, it's the odd the odd F word, the odd P word in Afrikaans. Sometimes you scold them in Afrikaans, and you gotta be hostile, if you can put it that way. You gotta be aggressive.
Just to unsettle them.
Such a lot. Yeah, just to unsettle. That's why we call it sledging.
Yeah.
But if you there was a stage in my career. I was very aggressive. I wanted to, physically fight with people. But
what was your favorite scalp that you took? I mean, you've bowled against great, amazing batsmen. What was your favorite wicket that you'll cherish till today?
It's probably Ricky Ponting. I got him a few times, but the one that really stood out is 2000, when we played at 3-day indoor games in Melbourne in 2000. I got him out twice there, but the one I got him out was a brilliant Yorker, and I'll never forget it. Stumps flying out of the ground, and it's always stands out. Brian Lara never got out, but I bowled against him. Tendulkar never got out, but I bowled against him. It's good players, English players, Sri Lankans. That is the perks of being an international sportsman. You play against the best. You play against guys who used to be your heroes. And not that also you play against, for example, you play in the West Indies, the old West Indian come and visit you there in the change room. Sir Viv Richards, all these guys come and have conversations. This is how you learn. This is how you enjoy cricket. So, it was great. I was blessed. I'm still blessed to be involved with the game. But as I said, Ricky Ponting is probably the one wicket that really stood out.
I can imagine. And you spoke a bit about the West Indies, and I mean, you definitely had some amazing tours to the West Indies. Herschel Gibbs mentioned quite a bit in his book about the tours. What are some of your memories on that tours, and how did things unfold that it came out to the media that quick and in such a negative light?
Look, you go to the West Indies, you know what you're going to get there, So, it's a beautiful place, beautiful islands, but unfortunately we got caught smoking weed, stupidity, if you can call it that way, So, look, it was good fun, I'm not mentioning names. We got caught, we paid our fines, etc. But just to drop off the point, is one of the places where you basically reminds you about how colored people play cricket. Attacking. Not really textbook, if you can put it that way. see ball, hit ball, brilliant, but as to come back to our point, West Indies, unbelievable. As I'm talking to my eyes on the test match there as well. So it's just an unbelievable place to play cricket, for any youngster who really want to experience good cricket, fast bowling at its best. There is a place to go, it's unbelievable people, beautiful beaches.
And I mean, if you fast forward a couple of years and you look how things are unfolding now, let's say, what are we now, 2021? For what you will find for so much back then, I'm sure the band would have been so much less these days, because you find that players are starting to use it as a form of recovery, whether it comes in medicine, if it comes in creams or balm. So it's crazy to see how much the sport has evolved since when you played compared to how it is now. I mean, Roger, just a couple of years later, and you could have come off scot-free. But look, let's chat a bit about moving on a bit further in your career. I mean, this was all water on the bridge at one stage until one of the players obviously spilled the beans. And I mean, does that kind of break up the morale and the spirit within a camp if a player kind of goes out and exposes the dressing room secrets?
Well, there's a saying, what goes into a stays into a. There's a saying in cricket change rooms. But look, it's unacceptable for what we did, and we explained that to Cricket South Africa, UCB that time. We took our punishment, but it's not right for people to go leave the group and go, spill the beans with other people. I don't agree on that, rather go see the players themselves. If you got a problem with me, come approach me. Let's give me advice then, because I will do it, and I've learned this skill now because I'm a coach myself. I can't attack players. I can't say how bad this player is playing at the moment. You need to come and have a conversation with me. And I think, we were disappointed because one of the players went out to the UK and spilled the beans with a former coach, and it came out just after he left, Look here, I'm not mentioning names. I'm not even sure until today if it is that guy, but 80%, 90% says that it is definitely that player. So look here, what happens. I don't advise younger players or current players to, did what we, do the same thing. If you want to do it, rather, go take a walk on the beach and have your smoke there and, have fun wherever you want to. But I think we were just stupid, We're looking for fun. We want to test serious against West Indies. So we decided, listen, let's have a little smoke there.
And I think it's always fun. Not every day you get a test series win over the West Indies in the West Indies. Hey, Raj, I mean, you've had, like we said, you've had so many ups and downs in your career, and injuries were one of them. If you look at it today, what are some advice that you could give to the youngsters out there that face injury or are currently injured, going through injury, just to keep their head up and get through it? If you could do something different when you were injured, what would it be, and what would your advice be to the youngsters out there?
In fact, you're bringing up a great point. About I spent 3 weeks with Mackay and Tini now in India with this World Series road safety in India, and Mackay. And I know, and we all know, and the whole public knows, Mackay was never injured when he played Test cricket or international cricket. So I asked him, listen, why? He says, Rog, I run every day still. You got to be physically fit. You won't break down. It's straightforward. So to all the young cricketers out there, try to stay fit, try to stay strong. There's sometimes your mind says that I don't want to get up. Make sure you do your runs every day, and that will keep you on the cricket field, any rugby field, or any sport field, because that was probably my downfall. But lazy to go run, but lazy to go gym. Yes, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you say, if I can wind back the clock, that is probably the first thing I will definitely do. Get myself fitter for cricket, stronger. But you must also remember, back in the day when I started, we never thought of these things. You just wanted to play. Our coach used to make us run once a week, and we used to bowl all the time. We were bowling fit instead of, physically fit. That is the difference.
It's crazy how the game evolved, and today there's so many fitness tests that you need to pass in order to make it to the cricket field itself. Raj, thank you so much for your time this evening. It was amazing having that chat with you, spilling secrets. I mean, Chantal is obviously having a blast, as well as Harun Fontaine saying that's an open secret. The guys are clearly enjoying themselves on Facebook.
It is an open secret. No.
But look, that's it that we have time for this evening. I thank you. It was really a pleasure having you.
Great,
Yeah.
No, it was great to be on your show. I mean, I'll definitely watch for the next superstars or legends coming on your show. And well done. I think people enjoying your show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure chatting to you, and I always like the fact that you're an open book, and whether it's the tough questions or the easy ones, you never shy away from them. Thank you so much, Raja. I hope you have a good evening further, and I look forward to chatting to you in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, give us a shot. Thanks, bud.
That was the former Protea seamer, Raja Telemachus, sharing a bit about his career and the secrets, spilling a bit of the beans, and telling us about the highs and the lows in his cricketing career. Next up, I'm going to be chatting to Yasin, all the way from Saldanha. Saldanha Rugby Club are the current champions of the Boland League, and Club Rugby is back come 2021. 2020, there was no Club Rugby. Let's hear all about them, their club, and what they have planned for the year 2021. Assalamu alaikum, Yasin. Shukran so much for joining me on the show this evening.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing, my bad?
All good. I'm sure I seen that smiles of yours in the background when Roger was sharing those secrets. Certainly amazing memories, eh?
Yeah, most definitely, Zakir.
Yasin, I mean, let's jump straight into it. You guys are the reigning champions of the Boland League. Last year there wasn't any club rugby that took place. How do you guys approach 2021?
Well, Zakir, yes, I must say, it was number one. It was very difficult, obviously, with no rugby. You still had a duty and responsibility towards the players and the community as such, especially our supporters. So yeah, what we did was we spoke to our, if I refer to as we, I'm referring to our exact, we spoke to our coaches, and our coaches had certain programs running, in terms of keeping the guys fit. Yeah, that is at that stage what we've done up and until now.
No, I think you guys definitely doing a good job at it, roaring to go. Your club was founded in 1994. Tell me a bit more about how your club was formed and how it came together to become the powerhouse in South African club rugby at East today.
Yes, thanks a lot, Shukran, Zakir. What happened was that, already in 1993, now we're looking at, pre-4, is there was two clubs that took the initiative. And one was the so-called colored club, Saldanha Marine, and then also the so-called club, the white club, Saldanha Rugby Club. These two clubs came together already in 1993. and they started with the talks, in terms of coming together and form one club, and that eventually materialized in 1994, where we saw the birth of Saldanha Rugby Club. And at that stage, both teams came together, and apparently, from what I understood, obviously that was, if I refer to it before my time, because at that stage I was also playing rugby for another local club in Vredenburg. That time it was still the Wenians. Yeah, and so these clubs came together in 1994. They played together, and from what I said, I believe the one half of the year or the season was captained by the Saldanha Rugby Club, and the one half of the season was captained by the Saldanha Marines Rugby Club. Yes, and from there onwards, this club obviously just grew from strength to strength, as it is where it is today.
And in talking of the club growing from strength to strength, what are some of your most notable achievements till today?
Yes, look, one of the major achievements was when we achieved to build a big stadium here in Saldanha Bay, and I must say the role players there. The previous chairperson, Bertram Vragom, of which you probably know by now, he was very instrumental with the talks between that time it was Transnet and then the Saldanha Bay municipality. Okay, so the club itself decided to approach these two components, and obviously for monetary assistance, and today we have this nice big stadium. All right, that was the one part of it. Another achievement, just maybe I can add more to the stadium.
Yeah, sure.
It was in a region of more about about 50 million, more or less. That was the cost of that stadium, and it can basically, in terms of seats, it can house about plus minus 1,200 spectators. That is just the seating of it, leave alone, also those around the fencing, around the field. Yes, another big achievement is when we saw the birth of the Transnet Saldanha Easter tournament, which started way back in 2018. Yes, another brainchild of my predecessor, Bertram Vragom. Obviously, how this came about was when, as a chairperson at that time, the two of us had a talk and said, listen, how do we take this club to another level? Okay, and the answer to that was that, look, seeing that he was, and I'm referring now to Bertram, was already the chairperson of the club about plus minus 11 years. I was at that stage, I was the vice chairperson. So we had a talk, obviously our whole executive had a talk, and we said, listen here, how do we go about, taking a rugby club to another level? And the answer to that was the formulation of a marketing committee. And this committee, which is currently headed by Bertram and his team, they're basically responsible for big events like the Transnet Saldanha Easter Rugby Tournament. Now, Zakir, I'm not quite sure how old you are or how young you are, but it took the format of the top 8 that which used to be played at City Park in Cape Town, where obviously, as you hear from the name top 8, the top 8 teams, were chosen, and then they compete, obviously. And this is what we're doing. Was it not for COVID, then this year would have been the 4th year. But as you know, COVID came, and we had to put this for now aside until such time we can play again. So what it basically consists of, this whole top 8 team is consists of at least 2 local teams, and then your 2 local teams. Obviously, the champ of the club rugby, Boland rugby clubs, and then the runner-off. Then those who competed in the semi-finals as well. That is now in the Boland itself. And then we go to Cape Town, 1 or 2 clubs from Cape Town. And then even further than that, we go up to George and Mossel Bay. Those clubs, we are also getting involved. You see, so it's not a local tournament. We try to expand it and give exposure to many clubs. That's the one thing. And I must say, here we need to acknowledge obviously our anchor tender, or rather our anchor sponsor, main sponsor, which is Transnet. Companies like the Furco, Sea Harvest, the municipality itself, to mention MCK Engineering, to mention just a few. And then also, as I said, we obviously, as you know now, we played over the Easter weekend, Thursday normally, the Saturday and the Monday, when the finals is been played. Okay, so what we then, one of the next achievements was also, and that was also in 2019, where we had our local derby between ourselves and Vredenburg, and we had this cancer. This game was all about the cancer, people who suffer from cancer. So all the money that was made on that specific day, was basically donated to the a local cancer organization, cancer organization in Vredenburg. Even our first team, when we won the derby, also contributed, took the winnings and contributed to this amount, which was quite a substantial amount. Right? What else is there? Obviously, the main one was to be crowned Boland champs in 2019. This is, and quite instantly, my predecessor Bertram told me, listen here, if there's one thing before I step aside him as Bertram, is that I would very much like to win the championship, club rugby championship for Boland. And it so happens that, on the time when he decided to step aside, and I was elected as a chairperson myself, and at that stage we also had a new coach and his coaching team, of the first team, which is Monique Kurtz, and his coaching staff. It was a first for us as well. So I think personally for us as achievements is winning the big one in 2019.
No. I'm sure there's so many people around the country that can take their hats off to you guys for pulling that off. Here we have a comment from Harun Fortuin asking, having SuperSport show the final day on SuperSport was a massive coup. Well done to your new executive. Will this collaboration continue in future? That is a tough one. I mean, you guys certainly had all eyes on that match. I mean, even in Johannesburg, I must say, coming from Raiders Rugby Club, we have been following the tournament closely, because I do believe that there was an email that was sent through, but unfortunately due to COVID, we couldn't fulfill it. Well, the ball's in your court. Is this going to happen in the future?
Well, obviously, let me say that we as Saldanha Bay Rugby Club do not underestimate any team. Rugby is, in my opinion, the best team on the day will win. It's all about preparation. It's all about discipline. It's all about following the game plan. And as I said, it's all about having a good team together. And if I mean a good team together, I include both the exact, the supporters. I just saw Chantal now. Hi, Chantal. And one of our big supporters there. the marketing team, the managers, as I said, the coaching staff, the players themselves, it all, all those components, when they come together, and that is in my book, it's a winning team.
No, definitely. And I mean, you've spoken a bit about players, and now we have to go on to this. I mean, who are some of the players that your club has successfully produced and assisted in their journey to go on and make provincial colors and national colors?
Yeah, I can immediately think of two chaps, Randall Julius and Reno Benjamin. That comes to my mind immediately. Who played, obviously for Boland and Springbok Sevens, Stormers. Then there's other guys also like Lydia Williams, played for Boland and Pumas. And then obviously there's a lot of other players either still playing for us or played for us, And as I said, I'm going to have to take up all your time if I have to mention all the names. But they just need to know that, we thought about them, we're thinking about them. But yeah, there's Jacqueline Jensen also, who used to play for Boland as well. So there's quite a few players that either play amateur, provincial, or then national.
No, definitely.
To mention just but a few.
Just but a few, I was about to say. So now we look at it, it's 2021, an exciting year. We've seen that the British and Irish Lions will be coming to town on a national setup. We do know that the Rainbow Cup will be taking place. The Preparation Cup is wrapping up. We come back right down to club rugby now. And if we look at it, how is things looking in the Boland come 2021? Are you guys going to have a club rugby competition?
Well, Dakir, I would very much hope so. We're all sitting here and waiting in anticipation. Yes, we've got permission, our certificate of operation from Boland to at least start practicing. But yeah, from what it looks now, as it is now, we're looking probably at the second half. We are hopeful that we can play in the second half of this year.
No, it's gonna be quite exciting. But how exactly do you keep your players motivated week in and week out to keep training and keep giving their best in training when there's just no target to aim at? How do you manage to keep them motivated?
Yeah, I promise you, Dakir, this is not something very simple. It's very difficult, or let me rather say it's very challenging. Number one, we have to the fact that we're not out of the woods yet. So as I said, mentioned before, that there is some certain programs that we are running, the coaching staff are running with the guys. We would regard ourselves as a responsible club and not trying to break the rules and regulations put out for us by the government, and the department. So with you, quite challenging to keep them positive and motivated. But what else can we do, you see, other than, just sticking to our plans and our programs that we have in place?
No, definitely. I can imagine. I mean, every club around the country is currently facing the same struggles that you are. As Saldanha Bay Rugby Club, you guys you told me about your the cancer project that you guys done for the cancer patients. What else do you guys do for your community, and what is your responsibility in the community to ensure that it's kept together and we work towards a better South Africa?
Yeah, look, what we've done so far is there's a lot of youngsters who is obviously unemployed. Okay, so we are in basically in good standing with the local West Coast College in Vredenburg. So we tried to, we did to set up meetings with them in order to come to our sport grounds, explain to to the younger players what do they offer in terms of programs, being it becoming artisans or something to that effect. But yeah, that is one of the things that we're looking at to see to what extent can we uplift our players and then also have an effect onto their families. Unemployment is quite high in our vicinity as well, with the closing down of Saldanha Steel or Oslo Metal. So yeah, there's quite a lot of job losses, but that is why we're saying we do the best as we can, to see how we can assist. I'm working at a company at FERC, and I'm quite incidentally in HR, also involved with recruitment. So where we can, we try to assist even through or during the lockdowns. We try to we got together as marketing team and the exec of Saldanha Rugby Club, and we looked at a couple of food parcels and distributed through our local community, because as I said, people lost their jobs. There's a huge unemployment rate, and yeah, so that is what we are busy with, and see how can we upskill our people in that regard as well.
Rugby can certainly be used as a tool to bring the country together and bring a community together, so that we can strive towards a better South Africa. Yasin, before I let you go, there's just so many questions that I have for you, but I do know that your time is limited with us. Look, in the build up to this year, what is your message to your fans? Because just like it is difficult keeping your players motivated, I mean, your fans that are there week in and week out, and there's just no doubt that it was seen on SuperSport how they come out in their numbers when they do come support you guys. What is your message from the club to the fans?
Yeah, look, Zakir, thanks a lot for that question. And one thing that lies very close to our hearts as executive, as a whole of Saldanha Rugby Club, is our supporters. You see, you can go anywhere. I promise you, these people are just singing like mad. I promise you. What I can say first and foremost, is to say thank you to our supporters. To always stand behind us, being it win or lose. Thank you for being the supporters that you are. Yes, we've got a title, we've got a cup to defend, you see, and that is what we are doing. Without them, I promise you, we are nothing. So thanks a lot, supporters, from the bottom of my heart as chairperson, and on behalf of the rest of the team, executive, marketing, coaches, team managers, all of them, thank you.
I see in the comment section here the people saying that you guys make a mean curry. I must come visit when I'm in Cape Town. I'm definitely going to do that. I've been looking forward to that. Yasin, thank you so much for your time this evening. I wish yourself and the club all the best for 2021. I do know that it will be a successful year on the pitch and off the pitch, and we do know that through rugby, you can continue doing the great work that you're doing to bind the community. Thank you so much for being on TD Online, and we certainly look forward to chatting to you again in the near future.
Yeah, thank you, Zakir, and your team as well for forwarding Saldanha Rugby Club, opportunity to be profiled on your program. And again, also everything for the best for you guys as well.
Shukran so much. I hope you have a good evening further, and all the best for your rugby club for the year ahead.
Okay, shukran.
That was Yasin van der Westhuizen, the chairman of Saldanha Bay Rugby Club, sharing a bit about what the programs that they will be running and what they have planned for 2021. exciting stuff. For those of you that did miss the show, the recording will be on my Facebook page. It will also be live on our YouTube channel for you to catch. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Do whatever you need to do so that you can get a hold of this content. It was a jam-packed show. We opened up the show with Labeeb Levy, who was joined by Nizaam, Carr, and Salmaan Moerat. They were the first ever Muslim captains that took part in a professional rugby match at the highest level. This was first. We heard about what it was like for them on the day, and then later after that, we chatted to Roger Telemachus, who told us all about his cricketing career from the highs to the lows, and if he could do things different, what his advice would be for the youth and the youngsters out there. We ended off the show with the chairperson of Saldanha Rugby Club, Yasin van der Westhuizen, sharing with us the history of the club, how the club is currently doing, and what they've been doing to keep their community together. Well, that's it from myself, Dakir Dawood. Next week, we're going to be here, same time, same place. And I mean, I feel like I need to spoil you guys. We're going to have an international guest next week. It is a Kiwi. It is a former rugby player. So you do the guessing. And yeah, I will keep sharing hints in the week on my social media platforms. And I hope that you do guess the guest right. That's it from me. Good evening. Have a great week further. And till next week.